יקל ליבי בישועתך, ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יקל ליבי בישועתך.
ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יקל ליבי בישועתך. ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יקל ליבי בישועתך.
אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני כי גמל עלי.
אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני כי גמל עלי. ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יקל ליבי בישועתך. ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יקל ליבי בישועתך.
אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני,
אשיר אל אדוני כי גמל עלי. אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני כי גמל עלי. אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני כי גמל עלי. אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני, אשיר אל אדוני כי גמל
שיער ביצני על מי מלוכות ינעלני נפשי ישובב ינחני במגלי צדק למען שמו כי ילך בגיא המוות לא יירא רע כי אתה עמדי ביי 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 Bye 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 Mizmor Adonai
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Woo, I love it. One more time. Shabbat Shalom.
That worked pretty good.
Oh, on this very chilly, very fall-like evening with the trees turning yellow and orange more and more every minute, it is so good to see all of, I was going to say all of the color that you all bring into the sanctuary, but I feel like there's actually a lot of the New York black and gray going on. So, but you're Saul, definitely, yes. But we're colorful in all the other ways, so here we are. Shabbat Shalom, we are beginning in our program with the words in our program on one of the pages, on page 5.
Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Children of our God. God said to Noah, there's going to be a floody, floody. God said to Noah, there's going to be a floody, floody. Get those children out of the muddy, muddy. Children of our God. So Noah, he built him an arky. Noah, he built him an arky. Made it out of hickory, barky, children of our God. It rained and poured for 40 days, it rained and poured for 40 days. It nearly drove those animals crazy, children of our God. The sun came out and dried up the landy. Sun came out and dried up the landy. Everything was fine and dandy, children of our God. So rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Children of our God.
Right, that's like exactly the right energy to start Shabbat. So because this week is Parshat Noah, it is the week that we read about the flood. Having recently had a flood in this room, it's actually nice to just read about it and have it stay on the page. One lovely tradition, we are not the only ones who do this, but I love the way we do this, is that we send a blessing for everybody's animals. We know that a lot of people have furry and scaly and other types of feathery friends and roommates and companions. And because it is not so easy to say, oh yes, we can't have you all bring your, donkeys and Gila monsters into the sanctuary, it would be a bit much. Although for those of you who remember at Bethune Street, we actually would have people bring right to the balcony. That was always a lot of fun and a bit chaotic. But instead, what is the symbol that God sends at the end of the flood to promise there won't be another flood? The rainbow, the keshet, exactly. And so what do? We have a basket down here in front of the flowers of rainbow ribbons. And so we are going to offer a blessing. Yes, they're rainbow ribbons. We are going to offer a blessing for everybody's animals, for all of your beloved animals, and invite you to come up and take one of these ribbons to bring home. And you can tie it on their, on the leash, on the collar. You can put it around the fishbowl. You can, I don't know what Rudy would do with this. The bar of their cage, thank you. And you don't have to come up and take it now. They will be here until the end of the service. You're welcome to take one for more than one animal if you have. I'm keeping mine right here. And this rainbow, we could try to, we could do maybe some, okay, if some people in the front rows would like to come up and take a ribbon, and those who are not going to be quickly and easily coming up and down.
Take your time, because there's a song.
Yeah, come and hang here for 1 second with your ribbon. Come and take your ribbon. Wait, hold on, but come take your ribbon. I know. Not right now. Later. So if everybody can come and hold up your ribbon. And for those of you who are online, if you are in New York and you're going to be here sometime soon, but you're not here tonight, we are happy to hold a few extra ribbons here for the next time you're here. So we are going to do a blessing for our beloved creatures who dwell with us. We are on page 196 in our Siddur. 196 and 197? Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Page 196 and 197 in our Siddur. I love that we have this blessing in our Siddur. And the author of part of this is right here. And we are going to offer a blessing for all of these beloved creatures who we are very grateful may or may not be descended, depending on your belief and stories, from the creatures who came off of the ark.
May the one who made collies and poodles be blessed. May the one who made tabbies and Persians be blessed. May the one who made guppies and goldfish be blessed. And who made the canaries and parrots be blessed. And the rabbits and hamsters and turtles be blessed. May our pets live long lives, full of blessing and love forever. Amen.
And on the top of 196, here is this lovely verse from our Torah reading this week. They and animals of every kind, cattle of every kind, all the creatures that creep in the earth, every kind of bird, every winged thing, they came to Noah, to the ark, two of every species in which there is the breath of life. Thank you. So we are going to now begin on page 38 with our candle blessings. And I just realized that Yolanda is not here. I know, I was going to invite her to, but that's okay. No, that's okay. You know what, Tanya? Hi, Tanya. I'm putting you on the spot. You have just come back from a journey that did not involve an ark, but it was a pretty amazing journey. Could I invite you to light candles tonight for us? Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
And we turn to each other and welcome in the angels of the Sabbath and the angels who are sitting on either side of you. And we turn to Shalom Aleichem on page 40 and welcome in all these angels together. Please rise if you are able.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moachem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tehem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Bimelech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. There will, of course, be more time to schmooze after services. I love how much everybody wants to be talking to each other. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to resume. We're going to resume. I mean, right, it's terrible. It's like you all really love each other and want to talk to each other, and I'm like, no, you have to stop talking to each other and being like very friendly with each other. No, it's wonderful. There'll be more time for schmoozing, I promise. The oneg is not yet. But, right, look at all of these angels that we just welcomed. Are there angels in the sanctuary who we have not met yet? It is our tradition to ask anybody who is here for the first time or who is in our new space. It's been 5.5 years, but it still feels really new for the first time, or you have not been here in a very long time. We invite you, if you feel comfortable, no like massive peer pressure, to stand up, introduce yourself, and just say like what your name is, where you're joining us from. And for those of you who are on the live stream, of course, you should be greeting each other on the live stream as well. And thank you very much to our live stream Gabbai, Sharon, who I know is helping make those connections. Anyone here is here for the first time who would like to say hello and tell us who you are? We really want to welcome you if you're here. Yes. Hi.
Hi, Resume. My name is Mark Shaw, and joining you here from New York. And it's my first time here in a long time other than high holiday services. And I brought with me a neighbor and friend. This is Jerry, who will introduce himself in just a moment, as I put him on the spot.
My name is Jerry. It's my first time in a gay synagogue. I belong to another synagogue uptown, and it's nice to see everybody.
Welcome, Mark and Jerry, both from New York. We're so glad you're both here. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Hi.
Hi, my name is Mo Holmes. I just moved to New York in August, and I'm a guest of Drew Mental.
Hey, welcome, Mo. So glad you're here. Where are you living in New York?
Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn. Oh, there's definitely a Brooklyn contingent. Welcome. Beautiful. We are continuing into the Psalms that welcome Shabbat, into the lovely list of, it's really poetry. I would say my grandfather grew up in a very Orthodox family and did not really learn Hebrew to understand the words. Like, he knew it by rote, he could sing it, but he didn't know what the words meant. And it was not until my grandmother brought him to her Reform synagogue when they first started dating that he, for the first time, read the Psalms in English and realized that they were really beautiful poetry. And that was actually the thing that got him deeply connected to Judaism. That was the thing that really kept him coming back. So speaking of welcoming in all of our angels, my grandpa Milton, for whom I am named, is over my shoulder every time we come into the Psalms for Shabbat. Page 52, L'chuna Ranana.
L'chuna ranana, Adonai Nariya, Litzur Yishenu. L'chuna ranana, Adonai Nariya, Litzur Yishenu. Adonai Naria Litzur Yishen. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai baruch hu shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai baruch hu shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Sapru v'goyim kivodo, v'chol ha'amim niflotav, Ki gadol Adonai u'mehulal me'od, norahu al kol Elohim. Ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim, v'Adonai shamayim asah. Hod v'hadar lefanav, Oz v'tiferet v'mikdasho, Havu l'Adonai mishpachot amim, Havu l'Adonai kevod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, Yisrachavu l'Adonai b'hadrat kodesh, Hilu mipanav kol ha'aretz, Imru v'goyim Adonai malach, Aftikon tevel baltimot, Yadinamim be'misharim. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai baruch hu shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Yismechu hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismechu hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagei haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismechu hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagei haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yismechu hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismechu hashamayim,
Hashamayim,
Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagei haaretz.
Please read with me at the bottom of page 59. The beginning of prayer is praise. The power of worship is song. To worship is to join the cosmos in praising God. Prayer is meaningless unless it is subversive, unless it seeks to overthrow and to ruin the pyramids of callousness, hatred, opportunism, falsehoods. The liturgical movement must become a revolutionary movement, seeking to overthrow the forces that continue to destroy the promise, the hope, the vision. Page 62.
Mizmor leDavid, Mizmor leDavid. Havul Adonai b'nehelim, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, Havul Adonai kivod shemo, Yishachavu Adonai b'hadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim. Adonai al hamayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'kolach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arasim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei alvanon, Hoyakidem kimo egel Levanon v'Sirion, Levanon v'Sirion, kimo v'Dreimim. Kol Adonai chotzev la'avotesh, Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai Yecholel Ayalot, Hoyechesov Yarod, Uhechalo Kulo Merkavod, Adonai Lamabu Yashav, Vayeshev Adonai, Melech Leolam. Adonai Oz Le'amo Yiten, Adonai Yivarech et Amo V'Shalom.
You may be seated. We turn to page 66 and welcome in Sabbath Queen, the Shabbos Bride. I feel like depending on, which communities you've been part of, we've heard different articulations of the personification of Shabbat that we that we bring in, that we welcome in this moment. And I like to imagine that, as we're welcoming in Shabbat, and I feel like every week I say, oh gosh, I'm so glad it's Shabbat. I really needed Shabbat this week. I really need Shabbat every week is the answer. But every week I need to say it out loud. And that idea of welcoming in, like the personification of Shabbat. Like imagine who is the most beloved person, living or not, who you wish you could just welcome in for a Shabbat. Like that's the feeling I have when I sing Lecha Dodi. Like who is the beloved soul? I wish I could just be welcoming into my home, into my soul, into onto my dinner table. And to imagine that Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabala, that we're singing to the most beloved person we can imagine. Come and dwell with us. We know it's been a hard week. We know that every week has its challenges, some of them more so than others. But we end the week by saying, how do we welcome in the most beloved creature, person, image we can imagine in our lives? So as we sing Lecha Dodi, I hope you'll make the space in your heart for whatever that presence is that you want to dwell with you this Shabbat. Page 66.
Dodi Likrat Kala, ay 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 ay, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, ay 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 ay, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu Elam Yuchad, Adonai Echad, Ushmo Echad, L'Shem U'Tiferet V'Lidira, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, ay 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 ay, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, ay 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 ay, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mikor haberacha, Erosh mikedem nisucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tehila, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, ay 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 ay, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, ay 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 ay, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha, Kumi Tzei mitoch ha'afecha, Ra'ach Shevet v'emek ha'bacha, V'hu yachamo alayich emla, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, ay 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 ay, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, ay 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 ay, Pnei Shabbat nekabelah. Itnari ve'afarkumi lishi migdei tifkartei Hayat ben Yishai ben Alafi Horai al nafsi ge'ala V'chadoti lekrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabelah Chadoti lekrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabelah Hitoreri Ki ba'orek u'miori Uri shida bevi Yevod Adonai alayich nigla Lechadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabelah Lechadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Lechadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Shabbat nekabelah Lo tevoshi v'lo tikami Ma tishtochachi u'ma matemi V'achi yechesu ani e'ami V'nivneta ir al tila Lechadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Shabbat nekabelah V'hayu limshisa shosayich v'rachaku kol mevalayich yasis alayich Elohayich yimsos lev ve'ava lechadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Shabbat nekabelah Yaminu shmo tifrotzi v'et Adonai ta'arisi al ya'ish v'enpartzi v'nismecha v'nagila lechadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Shabbat nekabelah Boi v'shalom Hatelet shechina Gam b'simcha U'v'tzola Tov emuneh Am segula Boi kala Lechadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Shabbat nekabelah Lechadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Shabbat nekabelah.
You may be seated. I definitely feel like there's an extra part of my soul that has been welcomed in. I hope you feel that too. We turn to page 73, 72, with the words that are right behind me on the ark. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. It is good to give thanks to the divine. There are some days where it feels harder to find the thing to be grateful for. Today, some of you heard me say this in the foyer, when I was walking through Penn Station on my way here, several people who clearly did not know each other just started yelling back and forth at each other, "Go Phillies!" And it was just this, I am not a baseball person, I just am not, but there's these moments of like strange unity that happen in odd moments where like people just have a moment of like enjoying each other and sharing something, and I'm like, wow, okay, Penn Station, bring it. I don't care about baseball at all, but I do care about these moments where people just out of the blue find a reason to smile at each other and be happy about something together. Tov lahodot ladonai, sometimes those are strange things we give thanks for, but we give thanks for all of them.
Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat, Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot ladonai, Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, L'hagir baboker chastecha, Ve'emunatcha v'leilot, alei asor v'alei navel, alei gayon v'chinor, Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat, Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat.
Page 78, please rise if you are able as we move into the main part of our service with the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. Please read with me at the top of the next page on page 81, up until the star. Praised are you, Eternal One, our God, ruler of all time and space, whose word brings on the evening dusk. With wisdom you open the gates of dawn. With understanding you make time pass and seasons change. You arrange the stars in the sky according to your plan. You create day and night, rolling light into darkness, darkness into light.
It's the day to fade away and bring out.
I thought we were done. Your turn.
Oh, okay. Uma, yes, I know. Uma yo, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El Chai v'haya kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, Amari v'aravi.
Amen. Page 86. 87? Page 87. Look at that.
We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we're too embittered to hear. We are loved, loved, loved supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a foe. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. Yahavatech al tasiri mimenu leolamim. Brucha at Shechinah ohevet Hama Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha u'chol nafshecha u'chol meotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech Ushopecha u'kumecha u'kshartam le'ol al yadecha v'hayu litzotafot bein einecha u'ktatam al mezuzot beitecha u'bisharecha.
We continue individually with the texts on the following pages.
Adonai Elohechem emet.
We turn to page 94. The song, right, the Israelites had no idea what was going to be on the other side. I can imagine entirely breaking into song when you finally arrive somewhere dry and the people behind you chasing you are suddenly no longer there. That sounds a little bit like my commute. And I realize as I'm saying that out loud, right, I did manage to jump into an A train today, and I will tell you that as the doors slid shut, I wished I had a tambourine just for a moment. It's definitely a much more profound moment. But, yesterday, I think the reason why this subway is so profoundly on my mind today is because yesterday was the subway's 118th birthday. October 27th was the opening day of the first New York City subway ride. I do not remember the name of the mayor at the time who was given the honor of actually driving that first train. He was supposed to only drive it to the first station, but apparently he was having so much fun that he just kept going all the way from City Hall to, I think, 110th Street. And they then made like a silver version of the, whatever, the lever that they, whatever. to commemorate the occasion. Anyway, so I feel like I'm very much in a Subway celebratory mood. So if Penn Station and the A train come up again, that's probably why. But we'll just trust that Moses and Miriam actually had a more profound celebration than I did jumping into the A train today.
Chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Yisrael.
Amen. We turn to page 98, Hashkivenu. We pray that there is something like a talus that is spread over us, that is keeping us safe, that we are spreading over each other, over our neighbors, over everyone, that we are all under a divine chuppah of protection.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim Uhros aleinu Sukkot Shilomecha V'takneinu b'etzah tova milefanecha V'hoshienu l'man shemecha.
Help us lie down, Adonai, our God, in peace, and let us rise again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Decree for us a worthy daily lot, and redeem us for the sake of your great name. Enfold us in the wings of your protection, for you are our redeeming guardian. Shield us from evil, disease, war, famine, and sorrow. Truly a sovereign, gracious, and compassionate God are you.
Ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Urei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu V'al kol amo Yisrael V'al kol ha'amim V'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. Page 102, Vishamru. Please rise if you are able.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam be'rim Adonai el hashamayim v'et haaretz ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash.
Following the Chatzi Kaddish, we will recite the Amidah individually. The traditional text begins immediately following the Chatzi Kaddish on page 106. There are also alternative poetic readings starting on page 124. And as always, there are the words in your own heart, if those are the ones you most need to dwell with tonight. Chatzi Kaddish, page 104.
Yikaro v'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalmah bivrach yirutei v'yamlich machutei v'chayechon v'yomechon uchayei l'chol be'Yisrael ba'gala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yeshmei Rabba Mivarach Ve'Allah Lo'yal Ve'Alvaya Yitbarach V'Yishabach V'Yipa'ar V'Yithorvam Yitnaseh V'Yirhadar V'Yiralev V'Yirhalal Shemei L'Kodeshah Leila Mikol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbekata v'nechemata Amirad mi'alma V'yimeru Amen. bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom.
Yeah, like I said, I need Shabbat. It's just there. We now turn to page 130 and include a prayer for healing as we do in every service. Mishaberach imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel, Bilcha, Zilpah, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel, Bilcha, and Zilpah, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, bless us too. Bless and heal all those who are ill. We keep in our prayers this week Jasmine Berman, Ruthie Berman, Shayna Call, Ron Cohen, Ruth Deborah, Michael Eisen, Erica Foreman, Susie Goldmacher, Alan Messer, Marty Siegel, David Sussman, Marilyn Sussman, Claire Wadensky, Freda Bat Asha, Azna Brucha Bat Chanasima V'Yakov, Mordechai Ben Nachman V'Bela Rivka, and Sarah Bat Devora. And we include in our healing prayers all those who currently have COVID-19, both in the CBST community and around our city and our country. Give strength to those who are battling illnesses. May they all be blessed with a full and complete healing, a healing of spirit and a healing of body, together with all those who are ill among the Jewish people and around the world. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us all to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all who are ill be surrounded by the love of friends, loving companions, families, and community, and let us say, Amen. I would like to invite the ARC Immigration Clinic Director, Noah Habib, to come and join me for a moment. Surprise. And we turn to the prayer for our country on page 8. I know that the work of the clinic has not been as visible as it was pre-pandemic, when anybody who came here on a Wednesday night would just see like 100 people downstairs. But we've had like it's been like this every couple of weeks. We've been getting news about new immigrant friends getting their asylum. And so for a while we were putting like a little mazel tov in the e-news every time there was somebody who got asylum, and we actually now have a bit of a backlog thanks to the high holidays and thanks to how many people have now won asylum. So Noah, I would love to invite you to read either the first or the second half of the prayer for our country, your choice, which is on page 8 in your program.
Thanks. Oh, you got it for me. Let's see, why don't we do the first? So, our God and God of our ancestors, bless this country and all who dwell within it. Help us to experience the blessings of our lives and circumstances, to be vigilant, compassionate, and brave. Strengthen us when we are afraid. Help us to channel our anger so that it motivates us to action. Help us to feel our fear so that we do not become numb. Help us to be generous with others so that we raise each other up. Help us to be humble in our fear, knowing that as vulnerable as we feel, there are those at greater risk, and that it is our holy work to stand with them. Help us to taste the sweetness of liberty, to not take for granted the freedoms won in generations past or in recent days, to heal and nourish our democracy, that it may be like a tree planted by the water, whose roots reach down to the stream. It need not fear drought when it comes. Its leaves are always green.
And I do hope that we have much more to celebrate. That we will have to do an update in the e-news with like the 5 names that we have to catch up on. May there be many more. And I will also just say, may it be like to heal and nourish our democracy, that it may be a tree, like a tree planted by the water. Do pay attention in the coming week's e-news. There will be some reminders about how to find your voting place, reminding a friend to come with you to vote, all of those good and important things. And early voting if you can, absolutely, it's starting. Thank you, yes, all of this will be there. Page 138, Kaddish Shalem.
יקרא ותקרא שמי רבה, ויאמר יברח ירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון וחיי כל בית ישראל, והגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם עליון מעמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותיהון ובאותיכון לכל ישראל כל דם אבוהון די וישמעיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
I will say it is a particular delight when I get to lead with Larry Kay, given that we have been singing together, even though he didn't know it at the time since I was 8 years old. Larry was my high holiday cantor at my synagogue in Connecticut when I was a kid. So when I close my eyes and hear Larry's voice, that's the sound of the high holidays to me. It's amazing. This year when I was singing, because now I'm the high holiday cantor there, and I did have a moment this year where I saw my friends' children running around in the sanctuary, and I had a moment of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be their Larry Kay. Right, one day they're going to show up at CBST and join the choir, and they're going to say, wait, you sound familiar. And they might become a rabbi, you never know. Anyway. It's like I have a sermon down here somewhere. I feel like I should invite myself up to the bima, right? I'd like to invite Rabbi Marisa James to give us some words of Torah. Why, thank you. I didn't grow up in a synagogue that had multiple clergy, so it's a new moment of learned, oh, wait, how do I do this transition now? So I have to say, I really love Shabbat Noach. I mean, I will get up the times I get to give the drash. I almost always start with, I particularly love this week. But it's always true. I really mean it. It's always true. I do love Shabbat Noach. I especially love our sweet tradition of sending these rainbow ribbons home. I am bringing this one for my little nephew, puppy, Remy, who some of you have seen online. He is sometimes a very good dog. He will probably shred this immediately, but that's okay. I still want to bring him the blessing. Tomorrow morning, I will be chanting a portion of the story of Noah at the bar mitzvah of Noah, Matan, Adderman, Elkhorn, at their other synagogue, not here. Specifically, I'll be chanting the part immediately after the ark opens, and there's dry land again after the flood. So as a kid, I think I saw it a bit like what we were singing at the beginning, right? The animals going in twosies, but then they come out and everything's fine and everyone's happy, and that's like the happy ending of the story, right? They get to dry land, everything's great. Noah and his family are saved. There's a dove with an olive branch, right? There's like a lot of art around this as well. Right, the rainbow, of course. We've got the promise that there will never be a flood again. So after the flood, Noah and his family emerge into this new world, but it is very different. And there is no getting back to normal after this flood. There's just Noah and his family, this very small group of humans who are left after this tragedy, and whether or not they're going to be able to cope. In the part of the story that I chant tomorrow, Noah is not able to cope. He plants vines, raises a vineyard. For a minute, it seems like there's some normalcy. And then he proceeds to get so drunk on the wine that he makes that he passes out in his tent, totally naked and vulnerable. Noah's son, Ham, also seems unable to cope. His response to seeing his father's vulnerability is not to offer help, but to go and tell his brothers about it. He doesn't know what to do. The other two sons of Noah, Shem and Japheth, fare better. While their brother tells them that their father is unconscious in his tent, they go and cover him up, and they do it in a way that preserves their father's dignity. There are many different types of world-changing events that we experience, events that result in major loss, the ones we talk about using the terms before and after. 21 years ago, on September 11th, a lot was lost. 10 years ago, in the wake of Superstorm Sandy, a lot was lost. 6 years ago, with the election of an administration that attacked immigrants and Muslims and the disabled and others with particular vulnerability, a lot was lost. Almost 3 years ago, with the arrival of COVID in the world, a lot was lost. Now, Rabbi Kleinbaum rightly speaks of CBST as an ark, a community of people who hold each other up and care for each other as we navigate the different types of floodwaters that threaten us. But like the ark, and like Noah's family emerging from it, there was no getting back to a previous form of normal after any of these major events. Now, as you can imagine, there is a lot of midrash written about the story of Noah and the ark. And one of my favorite midrashim on this Torah portion is one I suspect none of you would guess the source. It was written by Madeleine L'Engle. How many of you have read A Wrinkle in Time? Or seen the movie A Wrinkle in Time? Okay, if you've had family members or kids or whatever who've read it, yeah, everyone kind of knows what this is. Anyway, there are sequels to this book about this family that travels through time and space, and in one of the sequels, two of the brothers of the main characters in the first book are accidentally flung back in time to the time of Noah's Ark. The book is called Many Waters. It is a middle grade reader. It's like a middle school aged book, and I incredibly strongly recommend it to everyone of every age. It is a book-length midrash on Noah. So in Many Waters, they imagine these twins are thrown back. They are lost in the desert. They're taken in by extended family members of Noah, and they become part of the story as it unfolds, but they're the ones who know what's coming. The title of the book is a translation of a line from Song of Songs, from Shir HaShirim. Mayim rabim lo yuchlu lechabot et ha'ava, uneharot lo yishtafuha. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can the rivers stop it. The book is suffused with the understanding that especially in times of momentous change and momentous loss, as these two boys know what is coming, it's important to feel the grief, to recognize what feelings of helplessness in the face of these great changes can do to our soul, and to make our memories of the past a blessing as we try to navigate whatever the new future will be. Now, Jewish tradition carries a lot of wisdom about grief. We understand that the first week, the first month, the first year of mourning are particularly intense after a loss. Those milestones can be very difficult. And there's the understanding in general that only a year after being publicly recognized as a mourner, that it takes almost a whole year before we say, okay, we're now ready to unveil someone's name that is now engraved in stone. Ideally, we grow around our grief, right? The grief itself doesn't always shrink, but we somehow expand around it, ideally, to the point where we can imagine a future that looks different than what we thought it might have looked like. And especially after a communal loss, we begin to be able to understand what we carry with us and what we leave behind. We keep sharing memories and retelling stories of times before, of what was lost, and also what may have been gained. Learning important things from a tragedy does not diminish the tragedy, but if we learn nothing from tragedies, it's also not so great. One of the reasons why the last several years, I think, have been so intensely difficult is that many of the momentous changes had no end date, right? There was no like stopping moment to them. And I remember graduating from rabbinical school in the summer of 2016 and thinking, oh, good, maybe now I'll finally get some time to relax. In the summer of 2016, it was not a time leading into relaxation. That time to relax or take things easy, to recover after a major flood, has not really happened for a lot of us. The impact of 4 years of an administration dedicated to destroying democracy continues to impact us deeply. The impact of COVID, about which we still know so little, continues to impact us deeply and will continue for years to impact us as we slowly learn from long-term studies what it does to us. So it's hard when you have no clear point at which you can say, okay, it's been a week since X was over. It's been a month, it's been a year since something ended. There's no clear moment to say, you know what, I have wept over the future I thought I would have. I have washed my face and stood up, and I can start to now imagine what my life will be like now. When Noah emerged from the ark, he was clearly suffering deeply. He and his family likely needed time to mourn all that they had lost. But as far as we know from the Torah, there's no chance. There's immediate pressure, first of all, to set all the animals loose, the bugs, the birds, the lizards, the creatures that they've been feeding all this time on the ark. There's the need to find shelter and food. And all of this amid the wreckage of the world as it was, all of their extended family or friends or communities just gone. What happens when people drag themselves through dramatic, life-changing events and never sit down to weep over what has been lost? That unfelt grief, anger that gets bottled up in lungs, longing that takes up space in our brains, it can slow us down, can make us feel stuck. It can make it almost impossible to think creatively or to use power that we have to transform and to build and to imagine what we can offer to others. I do not know how Noah's 2 sons, Shem and Japheth, actually managed to do this while their father and brother couldn't. But I think this is why Noah winds up flattened and Ham is unable to act. And I will say, talking with a lot of people who are younger than I am, and especially people who are significantly younger than I am, climate change is another sort of slow-moving, maybe not so slow-moving, one of these types of life-changing floods with no clear end and ongoing impacts. Most of the reporting on climate issues, when it gets reported on at all, reflects like the dismal record of years of inaction or not enough action, or just pure disaster reporting. But there are people who are focusing on what does it mean to look at grief around climate change and then understand what kind of creative thinking is still possible, and understanding that those 2 things are bound together. There's a new initiative called Not Too Late. It's an effort to get the word out about what we can do to avert the worst possible futures due to climate change. Literally, it's nottoolateclimate.com. It's like very rare that I'm like, and here's the website. But the great thing is that the first 2 quotes you see when you open up this webpage, it's a fantastic pairing. First, from Václav Havel, hope is not the conviction that something will turn out well, but the certainty that something is worth doing, no matter how it turns out. And second, from Octavia Butler, we don't have to wait for anything at all. What we have to do is start. The world before the flood was full of unkindness, misery, evil. And yet Shem and Japheth's first recorded action in this new world after the ark opens is to do something small and good and right, regardless of what the larger outcome might be. Noah might continue to be stuck in despair, we don't know, but he will be treated with care and gentleness, his dignity preserved even in his vulnerability. They don't wait to act, they just immediately do a thing they can do. The post-flood world doesn't go back to a previous normal. It's a chance for a new way of being that might actually be better. Noah seems unable to recognize that there might be anything good in the days and years to come. And I think it's an extra level of tragedy that when he does sort of wake up and regain consciousness, he curses his son Ham, the one who'd went and told his brothers. He's unable to see that his son also doesn't know what to do, that he's also seeking help, and that actually at least Ham had a little bit of wisdom to be able to go and ask for help, rather than just turning inwards entirely. Somehow they devote thoughtful time and energy to taking care of their father. Somehow they haven't been permanently immobilized by the destruction of the earth. Shem and Ham could have decided that their father's vulnerability, like in the grand scheme of things, was small, that it didn't matter enough. They could have blamed him for bringing the disaster on himself and left him alone in his tent. But they did one small thing. So we have been coping with multiple overlapping, world-shifting events, and it can be hard to pick one thing to do. I suspect that many of you, like me, are sort of inundated every day with emails and texts and phone calls and even paper mail. We still get that stuff. All of it asking us to just do this one thing, just give this $10, just sign this petition. And when it's another flood, it's a flood of small things. Even that can become overwhelming. So I'm grateful for this image of Shem and Japhet, these two sons of Noah, who, when they hear that their dad is just in the depths of despair, they drape his garment over their shoulders. They walk backwards into his tent so that they won't see him, that they preserve his dignity in that way. They cover him with the garment, and then they leave again. It's like the smallest thing, but it does so much. Now, putting Noah's cloak on him is not going to solve the problem of how to survive and build a new society in the wake of the destruction of the earth, but they do it anyway. There are days when I feel like that, right? We feel like Noah sometimes, like, let me just zip myself into my tent, ignore what's happening outside, close my eyes and wallow for a while. I do, by the way, give myself the gift every now and then of like timed wallowing. It's really helpful. Now, my wallowing, I don't plant vineyards and get drunk on new wine, because where would you even do that in Manhattan, frankly? My wallowing usually involves Star Trek popcorn and pajamas. But, right, we all figure out what the wallowing is that each of us needs to do that gives us the ability afterwards to say, I feel some of my creative thinking returning. I feel some of my ability to imagine a future that can look different and better returning. And afterwards, I also often find it easier to even just notice where there are good things happening in the world. I can even notice how many amazing people are doing, each of us, right, the small things that are adding up to more than we ever really know is happening at any given moment. These days, I am much more attuned to my own need for rest when I call it wallowing and when I don't. I'm more aware constantly of my own breath than I ever was, thanks to, unfortunately, lasting COVID in my lungs. Sometimes I'm pretty resentful that I have this new awareness, but sometimes I'm grateful. Our morning blessings require us to start the day with gratitude for the things that work, to notice, really, first thing in the morning, and be grateful for the things that work. There's gratitude that we can perceive day and night, gratitude for the freedoms that we do have, for the traditions that we inherit, for the clothing we wear, for our senses. And as for the things that don't go well, I mean, God knows we'll find time to kvetch about it, right? We don't need the reminder to that part of it. So the liturgy is crafted to make sure that we're front-loading the gratitude, the ways that our bodies continue to work, for waking up. As it says outside of every bathroom in this building, that beautiful prayer that we give gratitude for the openings in our bodies that open when they are supposed to, and the closings that close when they are supposed to. It's one of my favorite pieces of our tradition. After one of these huge flooding events, it can be hard to find anything to be grateful for. And I very much hope that Noah, I feel like this is the midrash I might write one day just because I need it. I hope that Noah eventually was able to feel gratitude for the tenderness that his two sons showed him, and that he was eventually able to feel regret for the curse that he put on Ham. I am sure that he never stopped missing the world as it was before. I am sure that he never stopped grieving for all that was lost in that flood. And also I hope that we can aim to be more like Shem and Yafet, to step forward, or maybe backward, into the unknown of the new world, and bring care and gentleness with us, and offer concern and dignity to others to help build whatever this new world will become. Shabbat Shalom. What do you think? Should we finish the service? Should we finish?
What have you? No, I'm not. What have you?
Please rise if you are able. We turn to Aleinu on page 100 and...
You want to have
Do we not? Oh, wait, no, you can sit down. Hold on, I forgot. There was a song. There's a song. It's in the program.
When God made the world, God made it full of light, the sun to shine by day, the moon and stars by night.
Page 5.
God made it full of life, lilies, oaks, and trout, tigers and bears, sparrows, hawks, and apes. And God took clay from earth's four corners to give it the breath of life. And God said, "This is very good, this is very good. All humankind, all are good. This is very good. This is very good, all humankind, all are good." God said to Noah, "The sky is getting dark, the rain is gonna fall, so go and build an ark. Gather all the animals, put them all in pairs, tigers and bears, sparrows, hawks, and apes." And Noah and his family were safe and dry as the rain fell from the sky. And God said, 40 days of rain, 40 days of rain, all people as one will live again. 40 days of rain, 40 days of rain, all people as one will live again. You may proceed.
Thank you. Page 140, Aleinu. Please rise if you are able.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teikenu l'yotzei breshit,
Otanu b'tzamo,
v'nafach banu, v'nishmat chayenu, she'enhik otanu b'limud torato, v'kidshanu b'mitzvoteha.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים
לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים עמהו, ושכינתו זו בגוהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום להשב אותו אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, השמיים ממעל, והארץ והארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. The bottom of page 149. When I am dead, even then, I will still love you. I will wait in these poems. When I am dead, even then, I am still listening to you. I will still be making poems for you out of silence. Silence will be falling into that silence. It is building music. Page 150, we pause to remember those who we have loved and lost in recent days and in years past. This week, we extend our condolences as a community to CBST members Daryl Solomon and Ira Tao on the death of Daryl's father, David Solomon, Zichrono Livracha, who died on October 22nd. We remember this week CBST members whose yahrzeits fall in the coming week: Myron Levine, Ken Harris, Alex Fisher, Stephen Marsden, Seymour Krasny, Arthur Cohen, Harvey Isbitz, Janice Munvez, and Rosalind Lips, and family and friends Faye Victor, Sobel Perlmutter, Jeffrey Paris, Augusta Rosenblum, Robert Dennett, Charles Gandelman, Simon Lutrin, Ruth Mills, Herbert Dratfield, Anna Porges, Joseph Rosen, Sylvia Silverman, David Gantz, Abe Rosenzweig, Rose Sachs, Fanny Tudelman, and Robert Kelfin. If you are in mourning, if you are observing a yahrzeit, I invite you to rise, or if it is your custom to do so. Page 150, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach v'yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyamechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavarach leolam alamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudusha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. You may be seated, and I would love to invite up for some announcements our Vice President, Harold Levine, and his pearls.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Wow, what an evening. Rabbi, this is not even Rabbi James's day job. Her day job is doing an amazing job as the Director of Social Justice Programming here at CBST, for which we are eternally grateful for what she brings our community. And on top of that, she leads a beautiful service. She's a trained cantor. She gives the drash, and tomorrow, apparently, we'll be reading Torah, another place for Noah Matan's bar mitzvah. Thank you so much. Larry, I have a friend who is a rabbi in another city, who I was on the phone with, and he was bemoaning the fact that his congregation doesn't sing, and that his cantor, as lovely as his cantor is, just cannot get the people in the pews to participate in the service. What I realized and was so grateful about this evening was that without the piano, I realized this is an amazing singing congregation, that everybody here sounded like they were in the CBST chorus. And it is not an ordinary thing in a synagogue in Manhattan for the congregation to sing like this. So Larry, thank you so much for singing so beautifully yourself and for inspiring all of us to sing along with you. And thank you to the congregation for singing. And at a time when we're all talking about acoustics because of the redo of David Geffen Hall, thank you to whoever the acoustician was who did such a beautiful job in this sanctuary that when we sing, we sound great. Which brings me to saying hello to the people online. I understand that some of you are far away and unable to come in person. I understand that some of you have mobility or health issues which preclude you from coming in person. But I bet there are some of you I could convince to come back in person. We have a lovely section over here for those of you who choose to remain masked and wish to sit with other masked people. We have quite a bit of space for people who have decided that they would rather be unmasked. And you too can come and sing and feel the glorious vibrations of this space when we are all together. We are back with Oneg. There are a lot of people here, and if you can come back in person, please do so. And now on to the rest of the announcements that Sabrina left for me at the front desk. Okay, there will be no CBST Shabbat services tomorrow morning or the following week. However, please join us tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Note the now merely newish time on Zoom for Havdalah led by Cooperberg Ritmaster Pastoral and Educational Intern Avigail Halpern. Speaking of Avigail, I zoomed in for her Parsha of the Week through a feminist lens class last week and this week, and it really is remarkable. There are about 40 people there. There's a lively discussion. She brings such enthusiasm and learning to that class. It is free to anybody who wants to be there. It is 12:30 to 1:30 every Friday, and she will discuss the Parsha of the Week. All the information is in the e-news and on the website. And it's really finally here. The new semester of Lair House Judaica classes is beginning on Monday. A few are already in progress, like Intro to Mishnah, Allyship in Jewish Text, and Feminist Parshat HaShavua. The others are brand new, like Deep Dive into Breshit, TA'd by yours truly, Jews in New York Literature, taught by Rabbi James, Prayer Book Hebrew, more Hebrew, Stories from the Talmud, and more. Don't miss out. You can register via the link on the e-news or on our website, cbst.org, and registration is open until next week. Can I get a show of hands? Who here is taking either one of the weekly classes for which we don't charge or the fall semester classes for which we do charge? I am seeing well more than half of the people here saying that they're taking advantage of our remarkable adult education offerings, which were one of the silver linings of COVID, that we went all online, making it so much easier to study here. And while you're filling out your calendar, don't forget to mark the next 2 Friday nights for CBST. On November 4th, we will honor Kristallnacht with our annual special Shabbat service that highlights the music of the German and Austrian synagogues the following period. The following week, November 11th, will be installation. Sabrina writes, I feel like I need some power tools, of Cantor Sam Rosen at CBST. Someday, someone will explain why we use the term installation. In the meantime, we hope to see you then, if not before. Thanks again to all of you who have so generously donated CBST this high holy day season. If you haven't yet, I encourage you to join us in keeping CBST healthy and strong. We are inching closer to our goal every single day, and I am confident that with help from everyone, we will get there. And with that, Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, and please do join us downstairs for Oneg, which has started up again. Yes, and I am reminded by Louis that early voting starts next week, that tomorrow, well, that is next week in the Jewish calendar. No, that starts tomorrow. Please vote, and particularly look in the e-news for some information on, I believe, on the ballot measure about the environment, which CBST strongly supports. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There was something else that I was doing. There's a lot of... The cantor and I both enjoy calling me the emergency backup rabbi. It's probably less of a cultural touchstone here, but he and I are both Star Trek fans. For any of you who have seen Star Trek Voyager, there is an emergency medical hologram who is a character on the show, and so that is sort of my my role at CBST is, right, like, oh, there's a thing that needs to be, I could probably do that too. But it is a blessing in my life that I get to do a little bit of everything. And I used to teach literature. It was one of my first career was actually teaching college English. So the fact that I get to teach a literature class is like speaking to that part of my soul that I have not been able to do in 25 years. It's great. That was Kiddush and that was announcements. Yes, and before we actually have that lovely Kiddush, I get to read the sponsorships, which is very exciting. See, I don't do this often enough for it to be like the super fluent thing that it is for Rabbi Kleinbaum. I have to sort of check my cheat sheet every few minutes. Our live stream is sponsored tonight, first of all, by CBST board, clergy, and staff with deep joy to Ed and Brad Richter on the birth of their daughter, Mazel Tov. Yay, new CBSTers, little tiny ones. By Jean Perlman and Donna Garda, in honor of the yahrzeits of Jean's parents, Milton Lieber, Zichrono Livracha, and Emily Clemen Lieber, Zichrono Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. And we're supported by Rafaela Anschel and Terry Kramer, in loving memory of our beloved friend Gary Winslow Henkel, Zichrono Livracha, on his third yahrzeit. We miss him with all our hearts. Yeah, I can see his name from here, right on the board. By Leslie Bernstein to Fran, it's been an awesome 25 years for sure. Oh my God, Leslie and Fran, 25 years. She loves you. Like, I don't want, right? Reading these is always a bit funny in that way. Like, right, like, I love Fran too, but not like that, right? Like, it's great. I'm never quite sure how to do, anyway. By Liz Edmond, hi Liz, with much love for her father Norman on his second yahrzeit and gratitude for all the ways CBST carried her through that very difficult fall of 2020. Thank you. By Harry Lutrin, on 7th Cheshvan, the 31st yahrzeit of his father Simon Lutrin, Shimon ben Tzvi Hirsch Wolf Verechel, Zichrono Livracha. By Rebecca Rosenbaum, on Mar Cheshvan, the 7th, Tuesday, for her beloved Beshert husband Steve ben Clement and Ethel Marsden, Zichrono Livracha, an unfinished life, love lives. Also by Rebecca Rosenbaum for her beloved father Max Rosenbaum, Zichrono Livracha, for the Gregorian date, and for the yahrzeit, I think this means the yahrzeit is on Parshat Chaya Sarah, which is coming soon. Their memories should be for a blessing. By Linda Solomon and Bonnie Siegel, to thank our CBST family for all the prayers and good wishes. Linda is finally making some progress, but still has a way to go. Keep those prayers and good wishes coming. And by Rick Fischel, thank you. So after our final song, we will, is it our final song? It's kind of our final song. No, I mean, Kiddush and Motzi is our final song, but our final song before Kiddush and Motzi. Back into our program, it's Noah. How can we not do the Rainbow Connection when it's Noah, right? So page 6. And if you want to do a Kermit voice, I won't stop you.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name.
Is this
The sweet sound that calls the young sailors, the voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La 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 la.
Page 156. Right, Kermit didn't go right into Kiddush from that, but we do. Page 156, please rise if you're able. It's like the big choice about the wine and the juice, which are almost identical, but, you know.
Yom HaShishi, Vaychulu Hashemayim v'aretz v'chol tzva'am, Vaychal Elohim, Vayom HaShvi'i, Melakto asher asa, Vayishbot Vayom HaShvi'i, Mikol Melakto asher asa, Vayvarech Elohim et Yom HaShvi'i, Vaykadesh oto, Kivo Shabbat Mikol Melakto asher bara Elohim la'asot, Savarei Chaverai v'chaverotai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri agafen, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, V'shabbat kodsho yahava uvratzon hinchilanu, Zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, Ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, Zecher l'yitziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu v'acharta, Yotanu kidashta, Im kol ha'amim, V'shabbat koshita, Yahava u'b'ratzon yivratanu, Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
And try to stay, let's we're gonna get as connected as we can in whatever ways feel comfortable. If you are physically or spiritually connected, that is all wonderful. And together I love that we're all connected for the bread. Great, okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la, la 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 la, la 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 la, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ay, ay, ay. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Ya, lai, lai, ya, lai, lai. Ya, lai, 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 ya, lai, lai. Ya, lai, 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 lai. Ya, lai, lai, ya, lai, lai. Ya, lai, 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 lai. Ya, lai, 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 lai. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And yes, don't forget to take a ribbon for your beloved small creatures. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Noah.